Once again, the data miners are at work and we've got some rumors to go over. Yo, what's good everyone? OJ over here from PlayerEssence. Welcome back to another video. Today, we've got some interesting rumors to go over in the world of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in addition to the Legend of Zelda. So let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And it seems like data miners are back at it again, revealing some things allegedly when it comes to a data mine. Now there's one thing to understand with data mines, guys. Sometimes things are thrown in there to throw people off. Sometimes they are accurate. I am not going over this information as something that is completely accurate or 100%. This is just stuff that has happened before in the past with data mining, and then it turns out to be true. There's times that there are things that are just thrown in there that never come to fruition at all. So keep that in mind when you're talking about this. This is a rumor. So let's go ahead and start off with the first data mine here in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, potentially revealing some more DLC characters in the Fighters Pass. Now, according to the data mine, you have three different ones here. You have one that says fighter underscore kind underscore Jack, and then you have another that says fighter underscore kind underscore brave, and then you have a third one that says fighter underscore kind underscore Paku. So here is what the initial findings of what people are saying, what these three could mean when it comes to the data mine and DLC characters in Smash Bros. Ultimate. So the name Paku should be referring to the piranha plant. Now the other two, there are some theories out there. So one of them that's being floated, which I find kind of interesting and funny because a lot of people have talked to me about this. Well, why isn't this character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? And that is Jack Frost from the Shin Megami Tensei series, but it just seems like that is too obvious. You put fighter underscore kind underscore Jack and that is there. Oh, well, it's Jack Frost, but that's what this is kind of saying. At least that's what some theories out there, fans are saying, that they think it is Jack Frost from the Shin Megami Tensei series. Obviously, Shin Megami Tensei 5, that is an exclusive for the Nintendo Switch for the time being. We don't know when it's launching, but people are thinking that it's going to be a 2019 game. So you also have that. It was revealed 2 years ago. Jack Frost is known. I don't know about that one, guys. I'll give more of my thoughts in a bit, but you know, we already have Joker, so I mean, maybe Jack gets in, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. Now, the next one is actually really interesting because they are talking about something that we already discussed before, and that was a Dragon Quest representative. And the Dragon Quest hero class is called Yusha, and in Japan, which directly translates to brave. So there is that in there that people are trying to draw some of these conclusions on what the Fighters Pass could hold. Now, we talked about a Dragon Quest rep being in there, which is completely something that I think can happen. Nintendo has a long history with Square Enix and Dragon Quest, and having exclusive Nintendo content or even exclusive Dragon Quest games, especially recently with some of their announcements. A lot of these games did come over, for example, like Dragon Quest X. That was originally exclusive on the Wii, then later came over to other systems, but there have been other Dragon Quest games as well. I know that there's like the Dragon Quest Monsters and the Joker series, stuff like that. So there's been exclusive games, and still there are some at this point. So there is a relationship there to where I think that there could potentially be a Dragon Quest representative, and that would be huge in Japan, as in like massive in Japan. If they were able to get any type of Dragon Quest representation in Smash Brothers, that would be a big boost to not only sales but just the reputation of Smash Brothers. It's already killing it in Japan, well over 2 million units in about 2 weeks or so, and we'll get the next week's media create charts in addition to the previous week's next week, so we'll even see how much better Smash Brothers has done with 2 more extra weeks of sales. So I do feel that that is a possibility. Now with Jack Frost, I have no idea with Jack Frost. If they can pick him, a lot of people have came to my streams and saying, why isn't Jack Frost considering? Why aren't you considering Jack Frost? Why not Jack Frost? I felt that that's not a possibility, and you know what? I shouldn't have done that. Now remember, guys, this data mine is not something that's 100%, but if Jack Frost gets in, I'm going to be eating my words once again. But here's what I'm going to do to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm going to sit here and say, you know what? Jack Frost could get in. So everybody where I said Jack Frost isn't going to happen because of Joker, you know what? It could happen because I said that about Joker and Joker ended up getting in. So I don't want to sit here and say something again and then it happens. So you know what? At this point, anybody can happen. We have Joker. We have a Piranha Plant. I mean, what else can be in the game? There can be more crazy characters. Maybe Jack Frost gets in. Maybe this other DLC is true. Maybe there is that Dragon Quest guy. I'm more leaning towards that, to where I think that it's a possibility. I just think that Jack is just so obvious. If they're going to put that in there, they could codename it something else. But Jack, I mean, that just is just right there for the picking for any data miner to go out there and get. So it's one of those things that we're just going to have to wait and see. I know I say that quite a bit, but really that's what we have to do in this situation. We don't know. Nintendo has their Fighters Pass. We know about Joker. We know about the Piranha Plant, which isn't part of the Fighters Pass, but we know about the Piranha Plant. Let's just get those characters first, and I'm pretty sure that there's going to be more information coming out in terms of when we're going to see stuff. Nintendo Directs, there could be something that's coming up soon. We just talked about Nintendo Direct, so we'll have to wait and see. But what do you guys think about this? I think this is pretty cool. These data miners, they're always at it. I would love to see a Dragon Quest representative, and a Shin Megami Tensei representative would be dope as well. I love the franchise, so we'll have to just wait and see on all of it. So let me know you guys' thoughts on this in the comment section below. All right, now moving on to the next rumor here. It's not anything that I directly think is something that's not going to happen, right? And it's a rumor going around that the next Legend of Zelda game, so not necessarily a Breath of the Wild sequel or something like a remake or anything like that, but the next Legend of Zelda game is already well in development, and we could see it next year. Because guess what, guys? We're in 2019 and 2018 is behind us. We're going into the second year of the Nintendo Switch. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was finished a while ago, in my opinion. I think they had that game wrapped up and ready, and they are just waiting for the Nintendo Switch in order to release it. So they've probably been working on a new Legend of Zelda game for quite some time at this point, and they actually even talked about it, right? A new Legend of Zelda game. They didn't talk about like what the game would be, but they have listings for like hirings for a new Zelda game. The Zelda team is always working on things. They talked about the engine and how they're probably going to reuse what they did with Breath of the Wild, but of course make some tweaks and all of that. So I don't necessarily think that this is more so a rumor than something that's going to happen. I think that a 3-year gap between the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and whatever new Legend of Zelda game that they do have, I don't think it's really a 3-year gap. Like I said, I think it's more of like a 4-year gap or something like that, just because I feel that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was held back for the Switch's launch. So I do feel that it's a bit longer, because I don't think they had the whole team working on the DLC for that game, considering what the DLC was. You don't need 100-something, 200-something people, or however much are working on the main Zelda team to be going into all that. Plus, they already have other Zelda teams anyway that could have probably assisted with that DLC that they did do. So I personally feel that this isn't necessarily something that is a rumor outside of the date speculation. We're going to see it in 2020. We're going to have it to where it's not like a sequel to Breath of the Wild, that it's more of a follow-up, so just like the next Legend of Zelda game. So maybe it doesn't have the same type of structure and kind of what Breath of the Wild does, but it uses the same engine. Maybe there's a lot more elaborate dungeons in this game. Maybe they do things completely different in terms of the combat. Maybe there's not the sword breaking mechanic and all of that, and you go back to the Master Sword and using that most of the time and not have to worry about it. And maybe there's not as many different things with the whole Sheikah Slate and what you can do there. I mean, there's all sorts of things that they can do to take the base of Breath of the Wild, the engine, take that, adapt it, kind of format it with the old Legend of Zelda and mold it into something that was completely different from what we saw from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and also from old school Legend of Zelda games like a Ocarina of Time or a Twilight Princess. I mean, I honestly feel that the combat and what they did with that engine, first of all, is amazing what they did with that engine and how they got it running and the physics and everything. It's just amazing what they've done. But imagine if they actually took that and made like the 3.0 or the 2.0 version, I should say, right? The 2.0 version, well, you have the Wii U, then you also have the Switch, which ran a little bit better. So maybe they take that and they refine it into a whole new version of the engine, and they get that going, and the next Legend of Zelda game is built for the ground up for the Nintendo Switch. Imagine that type of experience. I think that's what they're going to be building. So to me, while this is a rumor about the whole thing and the speculation of the date and all of that, I think a new Legend of Zelda is going to be coming in 2020, or at least announced in 2020 and launched in 2021, or announced in 2020 and launched later that year. So to me, it's not too surprising to hear some rumblings about that. I think Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was obviously an outstanding success. Singular platforms, just by that, right? It was the best-selling Legend of Zelda game of all time. Obviously, with the virtual console and all that stuff, that kind of floats the sales of the other games. But when you talk about the original release, there hasn't been a Legend of Zelda game that has sold more than the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So heck yeah, they're going to take that formula, they're going to take that engine and maybe mold things around it to kind of bring in some more of the older fans, but you also want to keep it for the new fans that got into it and liked the freedom and love the atmosphere of the Legend of Zelda. So I honestly feel that this game, whatever they end up doing, it's not going to be a sequel to Breath of the Wild. It's not going to be something that's exactly like it. They're going to change the format, but they're going to keep the base of the freedom and being able to kind of wander around and do certain things, but maybe add in some more of those old school elements, a little bit more challenging dungeons and things like that. So once again, we're gonna have to wait and see what they do. Either way, I'm excited. I love Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's my favorite Zelda game of all time, and I can't wait to see what they have for us next. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet and just to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for this RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you for the next video. Peace.